Testing, testing. Good evening, council. Good evening, members of the public. So tonight I'm going to go over a little bit of some of the police department's functions that we've been doing, a little bit of an update. Most of this stuff is going to be coming from last year, although I have a couple items from this year that I'll also be bringing up. So the first slide I have, I want to show our mission. So the mission of the police department is to provide professional law enforcement services intended to impact the quality of life through commitment, education, community, and partnership. And a little bit of background on that, over the last, I believe about 5 years ago, we updated it because we had one that was had been in there for 20 plus years. So members of the department came up with some wording and some things that we value to come up with our new mission statement, which we currently have. So currently our staffing, we have one acting chief of police / lieutenant, which I'm assuming both roles right now. We currently have 3 sergeants, 3 police corporals, 9 officers, 2 detectives, 2 unpaid reserves. We have 1 school resource officer at Livingston Middle School. We had 1 administrative services manager, 1 communication records manager. We have 1 code compliance officer, 6 full-time dispatchers. We have 2 part-time dispatchers and 1 office assistant for a total of 33 staff right now. This right here is actually a picture we took in 2023 for a Christmas card we sent out. I think some of the council members, or all of the council members, should have received a card. But we actually took this, I believe, in June or July when it was really hot, so we can get the right timing to get a Christmas photo. So some of the faces you see there, it's a little bit hot and sweaty, but we were able to do it. Just some stats I wanted to share for 2023, and obviously these are not all the numbers for every crime or every call that we took, but the Livingston Police Department Communication or Dispatch handled over 3,500 911 calls and handled over 24,000 non-emergency calls. And that includes Gustine and the city of Livingston, since we also dispatch for the city of Gustine. The total number of incidents itself is 30,000. Total number of cases handled is going to be almost 1,200. The total number of vehicle collisions is 126. The total number of fatal collisions, thank goodness, was 0. DUI vehicle collisions equals 5. And the total number of DUI arrests was 42 for the year. Misdemeanor arrest was 294, and felony arrest was 148, almost half of that. And the total number of citations issued is 934. That includes parking citations as well. So those are our numbers for the year. And then just some highlights that, talking with some of the officers and kind of going back throughout the year. I know I've sent a little bit bigger list to Christopher, but just some things I wanted to mention. One of the first things was hiring the first code enforcement officer, which the council had a big part in getting that going for us, and it's been working well with Officer Eddie Mulgado. He's been on for since March of last year, so he's almost been here a full year, and he's done a lot of good work. It was the first time we've ever had a code enforcement officer, so we had to kind of learn. I was put in charge of him and kind of getting to know the codes I was not acclimated to and doing different things that I had never done before. So I've actually learned a lot as well over the 11 months. We've also remodeled the police department. So we received funding for a officer wellness grant last year, and we spent most of the money on revamping our gym. I believe some of the council members have seen the gym. I know some of the staff. Christopher's using the gym out there with us. So that was something I thought was vital. I did take a poll with the department members on how we could use the grant money, and this was one of the main things that they came up with. We also have a massage chair that officers are able to go in and kind of de-stress a little bit during their shift. So it's worked out really well. I've been here 25 plus years, and I've never seen the gym used more than it has been in the last 3 months. So we've been utilizing it a lot. So we've also hired 2 full-time dispatchers, and we have which makes us full staff at 6 full-time. It's been 4+ years that we've had full staffing in dispatch, and as of today, I can say that the 2 new dispatchers are doing a great job. They're going through their training, and they're probably in their last 2 or 3 weeks of training, hopefully, and then they'll be out by themselves. We also started the shooting range beautification project. That a lot of that money is being used from the money that we're charging agencies to use our range now, which for the year is $1,200, or each day is $120. So I think right now we have about 7 agencies that are paying yearly, which is adding money to the general fund, but we're able to utilize some of that money to do upgrades at the range. And I did have several pictures here, but I had to keep my slides below 15. So I really wish I would have been able to show those pictures, but it's looking really nice. And because of the weather, we've kind of stopped the project, but we've been out there painting and put some new boards in with the benches that we have. We've also been able to add some fire extinguishers and fix up the classrooms that we have out there. So it's looking pretty nice, and we've already got good feedback from the agencies using the range. So we're pretty proud of that. We've also been able to, in 2023, we were able to get the Livingston Police Mounted Unit, MOU, completed and approved. That's been in the works for about 10 years, and we were finally able to get it done, I believe, in July of this past year. So I want to thank Christopher for assisting with that and getting that done. And then this year for Cops for Kids, this was my first time spearheading this thing. I've been involved in it. I didn't realize how much work it was. And I thought money and checks just kind of came in, but I learned that probably the last month that that's not how it works, and I had to really get out there and ask for donations and meet with people that I know throughout the community and the city, along with some of the PD staff. And we were able to get about $10,000 of money and gifts, so that worked out. And it was a stressful month for me, but we were able to get it as a team. We were able to get it done, so I was pretty proud of that. And then we were able to purchase the JAMR radar systems. I know that some council members have reached out with some speeding issues in certain areas of the city, and that's already been very valuable. I know that just recently we had some complaints on Prusso between Peach and F Street. Councilmember Soto reached out and let us know about that. We were able to set up the JAMR system, and we did confirm that there is a lot of speeders. I want to say there was like 70% of cars that go through there are in violation. The fastest speed that a car went through there on one particular evening was 105 miles an hour. So we definitely see the problem. We're able to now implement our traffic resources. I have one of the sergeants that's putting a program together right now to work enforcement. So the citizens that are on Prusso and have been reaching out to council, you will start seeing officers that you should have already started seeing them out there, but they'll start doing enforcement education as well. So that has helped us a lot. And that's something that we've been wanting to get for years. And then I believe one of the other biggest things was building our emergency operations plan. As council and Christopher have known, that we've had basically a cookie cutter program for the city, which is basically the same thing for every city in the county. And after the floods, there was some research that was done and getting some of the department heads together, and that was one of the things that we started working with Ancor Technologies. So we've been having meetings probably once a month or every 2 months and getting that going and getting an emergency operations plan that's right for the city of Livingston and the residents. So I want to thank all those that have been involved with that, with the staff. And then just some of the city events that we attended. We for the most part, attend every city event, but these are some of the highlights that we have. For the high school, we had every 15 minutes that we attended. And then, of course, every year, the Seat Parade, the Splash Run, LHS Band Review. This is actually going to be its 3rd year, and it's been a really good turnout. I don't know if any of you have been able to make it out to the band review. It's been a really good time. It's the first time I got to do it a couple years ago. And it's been pretty fun, so I've been going out there. Of course, the LHS and LMS graduations. And then the 4th of July event that we had last year. And then the Sweet Potato Festival that we've been having for the last many years, which is the big one. And then the street fairs that are put on by Recreation. I know this year we had our animal control officer out there doing the microchipping, I believe for free. So that was a good event to go to. And then VFW parade is always a good one. Along with the Christmas parade, this was one of the first times I got to see the new Christmas parade, which took about 3 hours to get through, but it was a little crazy, but it was a really good time. I know the council members were out there and saw a lot of the community, and it was actually really fun. So good job, Jackie, on that one. And then the Cops for Kids, as I mentioned a little bit ago, we've been doing that for many years now. And then one of the things that we did this year was do the neighborhood visit. That was something that I know the community's been asking for, and something that when I first started, was a part of, and it kind of went away. But something now that I'm in the position to make some changes was bring that back, and I think we had a really good time with that, and I hope to continue that this year with a few more different spots we can attend. And then just some pictures of the different events. On the left side, I believe that's the color run. You have different officers there making some goofy pictures. The one up top is where we had our open house at the PD. That was probably a few weeks before Chief Hale passed. He couldn't make it that day, but we got it going, and we were able to still continue the function. We had a good time. To the right, we have a Christmas picture on some donations. And then at the very bottom middle, we have our neighborhood visit that I was just talking about, that we end up going to the sports complex. And then to the far right corner, it is a nice picture of some of the command staff, but unfortunately that was the morning before we were going to Chief Hale's funeral. And I just thought that was important to mention that. And then just some updates. Again, I talked about some 2024 stuff. I know that some of the council members have reached out on some of these things. And so our spay and neuter program, we have $10,000 for vouchers that we have in our funds for the year. As it states in the flyer that we put out, they must be pets and microchipped. Hilmer Veterinarian is the only one that will redeem the vouchers. I know that's a big question people have asked, but unfortunately, they're the only ones that are able to process our vouchers. And we have explored other resources, such as the Shag and Wagon, and there's other ones out there in hopes to provide on-site spay and neuter, but have been unsuccessful due to lack of veterinarians and their staffing. So we reached out to over 10 different companies, and we pretty much were turned down by everybody so far. But that's still not going to stop us. It's a new year. We'll try reaching out again. And I do, if anybody knows anybody or has any recommendations, feel free to reach out to myself or Eddie Mogado. And then the voucher pricing, it's approximately $75 for dogs, and 15 of that is for the license and for the microchipping. And then it's $45 roughly for a cat. So I think if you do the numbers on that, I want to say it was like 150 plus dogs that would expend that $10,000, or about 220 cats for that, because I know you might have questions how many vouchers that equal out to. In 2023, I will say that we went through about 70% of our budget, so we burned up about 7,000, had about 3,000 left over, just to show you where the numbers are for that. And then for fireworks, I know that's a big thing every year. Unfortunately, last year was our first year we had the hosting ordinance, which we kind of still weren't sure how that worked. I think one of the issues that we came up with staffing last year is having the actual 4th of July event on that day, which took about 65 to 70% of our manpower. And when I say that, you have roughly about 6 or 7 officers on each shift. So we had 9 officers out at the 4th of July event, which left us with 6 officers to cover the street 24 hours. So we had, I think, graveyards come in early, but unfortunately we can't have day shifts stay till 2 in the morning because they got to be back at 6. So I do plan on beefing up patrol as much as we can, maybe put an extra detective out there. But some of the fines for possession, it's going to be $130 for the first violation, $700 for the second, and $1,300 for the third violation. As I said, we're going to plan on using the hosting ordinance this year. We're going to get more educated with that and working on how we can enforce that better. And that's going to be for anyone that hosts a party or gathering that allows illegal fireworks. And fines are the same, but can't exceed $2,500 within a 2-year period. And again, we'll have extra patrol on the 4th of July. And I will be working on other possible resources over the next few months. I know several years ago we had CAL FIRE police come out with us on patrol. I'm also thinking about maybe reaching out to probation, see if we can get some resources from there. But as far as Livingston police officers themselves, if we have a 4th of July event, it will take a lot of our manpower to the event, but we'll do what we can. And then graffiti, over the past month, we've noticed an increase in gang graffiti throughout the city. And without getting into too much detail, you may have some questions, but officers are currently conducting operations and gathering intel to identify and locate the suspects. That's kind of really all I can get into. I know I would love to tell you on some of the things that we're doing, but it would kind of defeat its purpose with people out there. So, but we are working on it, and we are working with other agencies at this moment. So. And then just some of the goals for the year. These are kind of some things I came up with myself and talking to some of the other officers and just kind of seeing things that we've had in the past. But obviously it'd be to reduce major crimes. Just over the last year in itself, we've actually done that from 2022 to 2023 in our robberies and major assault with deadly weapons, our shootings and attempted murders, and thank goodness our murders. We did not have a homicide in 2023, so that's good. And then start a traffic unit. That's something that we definitely need to do. We used to have a traffic unit, 20 years ago, and we do have officers that can ride our motorcycles that do not get utilized, but that's something that I would like to bring back, and some of the sergeants have already expressed interest in doing that. We definitely need a traffic unit and to be able to enforce the traffic laws here better than we do right now. And then obviously finish up the emergency operations plan. That's probably one of the big things for the year, to get that going in case we do have a major emergency, that we got to have something planned that's set for Livingston, not for Atwater, not for Winton, but that's something that is for Livingston. And also that other agencies can utilize resources that we may have. So right now we're finding out what resources we have available and what resources that other agencies have available for us if we needed it. And then finish the shooting range project is another big thing. That range has not been touched or worked on since Chief Eldridge was here. Many of you know that Chief Eldridge would be out there mowing the lawn and taking care of that thing. It was beautiful. And I plan on getting that back. Not so beautiful because it's going to be tough to get grass in there, but we've done a lot of improvement already, and I really am proud of that. And you know, when you go out there, the first thing you see is that this is the Livingston Police Department range, which you haven't seen that sign in 15 plus years, and now when you go out there, you see that, and it's just we take pride in that. And then one of the biggest things again is increased community outreach. I know when I first started, that was you want to take bad guys to jail, and that's how a lot of the new officers think. But after 25 plus years, you kind of change the way you do things, and reaching out to the community is big for me. Once I started working with gangs, narcotics, and all that stuff 10 plus years ago, one of the things over the last 5 years I talked about was getting to the youth and the community itself and letting them understand what violence could bring with gangs and narcotics. And getting in the schools, we just one of my big things was getting the officers in the schools. And over the last 8 months, or since school started, we've already had staff from the school and the superintendent reach out to us that they're seeing the officers out there like they haven't been in many years, and giving us a pat on the back. So I'm really proud of that. The men and women of the department have been going out there, and you'll see them at the schools. They're having playtime with the kids. They're going there reading, going at lunchtime, and it's valuable. That's something you can't take back, reaching out to some of the youth around here. So I think that's big, and that's one of my big things as a goal, whether it's lieutenant or the chief of police, is to continue reaching out and having the men and women continue doing that in the department. And I knew I wasn't going to try to hopefully take a long time, but that's all I have. Any feedback or comments from council?